All right, in this class, one thing I noticed right away is you didn't have a Western hat on, and that might have broken the rules. They usually are pretty strict about proper attire, and that would completely knock you out, even with nothing. Are you back to two hands? Because we can't ride in two hands. Oops. You are. Okay. Unless they, yeah, no, see, nobody else is doing that. We need to get you some Ramal reins too. You can get those at Paul Taylor's. Not Paul Taylor's, what's that other one? Oh, actually, yes, Paul Taylor's does have them. But the way you hold them, I'll have to show you, but basically you just make a fist with them, and your hands have to be, I believe, 16 inches apart. You can just look up some pictures of that. That's pretty simple. Or just look at some of these people. You can't put a finger between the reins, but everybody uses Romal reins. Almost nobody uses split reins in ranch riding. It's not illegal to use split reins. It's just a look. It just, Romal gives a certain look, and so everybody's kind of on that kick. But that would, so the hat and the not split reins, the two hands on the reins eliminated you probably right away. Nice little turnaround there, but you are a little bit out of frame briefly. But his head is in a perfect position right here. Like he's got a happy expression. Your reins are at a pretty good length right there. They could be a smidge shorter, but it's not bad. It's not bad. And but he looks relaxed. His head's in a good position. It's not too high. It's not too low. He's not arched. He looks really good. He's got a good expression. He uses his ears. Or sometimes he's looking. Sometimes he's listening. Like, that is a really good position. I couldn't see the start of your lope, but he's going around there pretty nice. Remember, we don't want a tucked head. It can be higher. Like, if that's his natural head carriage up higher, that's totally fine. Like, that's not a problem at all. But if you start trying to tuck it, it will be a problem. So you don't want to do that. It actually looks pretty decent. He's moving out nicely. Actually, that other horse there has a sour expression on their face. And your horse has a happy expression. So that's a good comparison there. Pretty crowded class, too. See, that looks really good right there. Really nice. He's free-flowing, free movement. No tail swishing. Everything looks just a pretty picture. Kind of look like you're looking for something. Like, look up, look around your corner. Look like you're going to work at a ranch somewhere. You're looking for a job to do. So try not to look at him. Try not to look at the people just immediately in front of you. Like, look up, look around the corner with purpose. It just creates a little bit better picture, period. Oh, but I do notice that several people there are not doing that either, but that can distinguish you from the pack. If you kind of look at some of the national championships, you'll see what I'm talking about. But basically, just look up, look around the corner, look like you're not worried about your horse at all. You're more worried about the job you've got to do. I would also, actually, so this This is something I'm not super sure about, but I would avoid your saddle pads a little colorful, but it may not matter. That may be something you'll have to double check on, because the pink is standing out. Whether it's in ranch, they want it to be a little more muted, like just a brown or a gray or something. That ranch, they don't want anything to look flashy, I guess. I wouldn't say you look flashy, but it's borderline. Like, let's see if we can see when we come around here what everybody else is wearing. Because the girl in front of you kind of has that too. She has a kind of a flashy shirt on. And I'm being picky here, honestly. But let's see. So, yeah, because kind of look at all these people around here. This girl does have a little bit of purple on her, so it may not be that big a deal anymore. I know when I started doing ranch, they didn't want colors. They didn't want that going on. But the rules do state you have to have a hat, so a Western hat. So make sure you have that next time. I would put your hair in a ponytail, so it looks like you're kind of going to work rather than it free flowing. All little horse show tricks, really. Keep kind of an eye on your judge every now and then too, like take a look and see what they're looking at. Him reaching around and smelling your foot is no big deal at all. He's just asking, are we working or are we not working? That's nothing. Standing really quiet, really relaxed, ready for the next maneuver. So that all looks really fantastic. So your walk-in was actually really good, but your reins right here are too long, and in ranch they don't really want them quite that long. They do want them in a relaxed position, but that would be considered too long. And then when you go to trot, starts out okay, except he's leaning a little bit, and because your reins are long, it's not super helpful. Then when you lean forward, which was the correct position to get him to extend the trot, he started zigzagging a little bit. But I really think most of that can be fixed with the shorter rein. And you don't want to have to hold them on the wall like that. So one thing you can practice to help with that is just turning him into the wall at home and then putting your hand back down, and then when he comes off the wall, turn him into the wall again, over and over and over until he stays straight on that wall. Sometimes I take my horse and go back and forth on the wall and then just rest on the wall or rest in the corner, so they're not automatically thinking about their turn. This is a really good extended trot, though. It looks great. He got a little bit sassy with the transition. So remember with ranch, it's all about transitions. So it was a windy day and they're always a little bit more frisky and stuff. So you may want to consider just lunging him more before you work him, just to get him a little more relaxed. This is a nice lope right here. Everything's looking good. Now, for you, visually, you need to be looking up and almost act like you're looking for cows that you're going to work, because it's a working scenario. You kind of go out of frame a little bit here. The stop wasn't bad, but he gets that split leg thing, and then he hits those front end. He hits that front end a little bit. So maybe make it a little bit of a softer move so it looks a little bit. smoother. I guess in ranch they want things smooth but snappy. I know that sounds kind of contradictory, but they want it to be automatic but smooth. Nothing abrupt. That was a nice little turnaround there. Really good walk. Kind of look up, look around your corner. Did okay there. Going off. Your reins look better here for some reason. Oh, I see. Okay, you switched to 2 hands. Okay, well that automatically eliminated you when you did that. You can't ride in 2 hands with a curb bit. And he's too old for a snaffle. So they're not supposed to place you at that point. So that might have been where that breakdown was. He is doing better in 2 hands, which most of them will, but the idea is to be able to do, at a working ranch, you need your hand free to be able to rope a cow or pick up items or whatever. So that's kind of the whole point of ranch, is that you can do everything one-handed. That's a nice trot there. Remember, when you're posting, you want those hands forward. It almost looks like you're holding him back, but asking him to go faster, so it makes it a little harder. He got a little bit confused there, which is fine. You fixed it. It was a smooth fix. That stuff's going to happen. Again, we want that smoothness, but you did get the simple change. Look around your corner where you're headed. So we need him to look a little more relaxed. He's flipping the tail like he's a little agitated. He's over bridled right there. We want a little looser bridle, or a little looser rein, and we want his head in a little more relaxed position rather than very upright. His ears are not looking for direction or you know, don't have a good expression on his face. So that is something that you'll want to just work on, as far as just like being really patient with him. That is likely all that is he's feeling a little bit of the stress. And when you're practicing, just take your time and repeat these same maneuvers over and over. Rather than even committing to a whole pattern when you're practicing, you can just do pieces of the pattern. So you can do, oh, I'm going to walk in the arena, and then I'm going to go out, and then I'm going to walk in, and then I'm going to go out, and then, you know, just keep repeating the same thing. Then I'm going to walk into the arena, then I'm going to pick up a trot, then I'm going to repeat that. Then I'm going to walk into the arena, pick up the trot, then pick up the extended trot, and then repeat that till he gets comfortable with each of those stages. So don't ever feel like you have to complete a pattern all at once. That was a good transition there. Everything looks smooth. Try not to throw your feet forward in the stop. You simply just want to put your heels down, because when you throw your feet forward, let's see if I can go back to that. It kind of jams your butt into their back, and so they give you a harder stop when that happens. You just want to, almost like you're doing an ab crunch, you just want to start tucking your tailbone under you, and then you just put your heels down. So don't bring your feet out in front of you like that. No, no, no. So, because look how you braced and he braced. So that just doesn't give a smooth picture. And so you want to just kind of tuck your butt and just barely put your heels down a little more so that he feels that slight change. This is too big of a change. But that's an easy fix for you. You can do that. Take your time here. Like, they don't want you to like stop, but they want it to be smooth. He just looks upset because he's flipping his tail. And I know, well, okay, yeah, so he did get upset. So, you handled that well, though. Like, you're in a show ring, there's not a lot you can do about that. You know, but that's obviously a big penalty. But the two hands would have eliminated you at that point already. But you just carried on and you worked through it. He just got a little sassy. They do that sometimes. That was a nice stop there. That's a nice quiet turn. That was actually pretty cool. Pretty cool right there. He's still a little bit flippy with the tail, and that could be just a sign that maybe he's a little sore, possibly in the hocks. If you have a little bute or something you could give him the day before the show, you could do that. It is legal to give them a little bit of bute. Alrighty. If you are going to do split reins, you do have to have your index finger between them and both tails of the reins on the same side as the hand that's holding them. He's really relaxed here. This looks really nice. He's got a nice walk. Bye-bye hat. That happens. Do like they do on drill team and pin that hat on so it doesn't come off. But, oh, you got your both hands on the reins again. Okay, well, that's something you can work on. It's fine. All of this is still really good practice. It's really good for him. It's really good for you, making you both more comfortable in the ring. But with two hands, they're not allowed to place you in the class unless they have some kind of like weird beginner class or, you know, something that's just like a green horse or something. Maybe they'll let you do that, but for the most part, no. He needs to be a little more focused there. He's thinking about the out gate there. So he's kind of lost. He came in with a lot of pep in his walk, which was really nice, and he kind of slowed down a little bit here. So make him keep that same cadence throughout. You could push that hand out in front of you just a little bit. Wow, they made you guys walk a long time. Still got a really happy expression on him for this class as well. I like that. This all looks fabulous. Don't tuck his nose right there, though. Try to slow him down with your seat. Try to rate your seat a little bit and see if that will help. Because they don't really like them bridled up like that with the head tuck. Like they would if that was Western Pleasure, there'd be no problem. But for ranch, they don't like that. There might be a rule about wearing the necktie. I can't remember if that's a rule or not. I do know that that was something that was common, but it may not be an actual rule, but something to consider maybe getting as well to just complete your look. might have been optional. For that extended trot, you're going to want your hand out in front of you, like almost like you're pushing him forward, so to speak. You're just saying, actually look at the girl in the green, teal. See her hands forward? You want that. That girl in the brown hat right there, her hands way far forward. That looked good. That was a smooth transition. If you can kind of distinguish yourself from the pack. When there gets a pack of horses like that, you'll tend to get lost. So you want to try to maneuver through the pack a little bit if you can to get noticed again. Alrighty. Okay, so you've got the individual work now. I don't know the pattern, so I'm assuming you did that part correctly. That looks really good. With your hands forward, you've got purpose, you've got a good expression. He moved out right away. Really good. Just got to get that with one hand, though. That's not bad. He had good cadence through there. Stepped over nicely, I think. I didn't hear any clicking. Plenty of forward. Being really good with that teepee thing. That thing's weird. I would think that would spook a lot of horses, so that's good. Good transition there. Looks pretty darn good. I think if you'd have been in one hand, you might have placed higher there. I mean, like I said, I don't have the pattern in front of me, so I don't know if you missed a part or anything, but that backup was nice. Turnaround's nice. Girl, I think this is your best class. That was actually really good. All right, trail. You got your hat back. I don't know this pattern either, so I'm going to just assume you stayed on course. Walked over that nicely. Oh, they've done a lot with their trail course since I've been there. Nice side pass there. Walk through. Never let go of your gait. That was good. That looked really good. It was smooth. There was no real hesitation. I'm assuming he didn't hit that with his feet or anything. This is an actual trail, isn't it? That's nice there. Little jumper there. He looks a little bit anxious there, which doesn't surprise me. I bet a lot of horses are, but just needs a little bit of time there to regroup. You can pin the hat on with bobby pins. I can take a little video of how to do that sometime when I can get to my hat. It looks good, except I would have a shorter rein where you have a little bit of contact. They just don't like a loose floppy rein. And he just looks like he's rushing. And that at home, you can just practice doing these things all slow motion. Like ask him to do it, relax, ask him to do it just over and over and over until he just gets more and more calm about it. Look like he did that part really good. But just shorten that rein up a ton. Not bad. Okay, I am not an expert in mechanical cows. I'll just tell you what I do know. You want the mechanical cow to draw your horse through, which your horse really did a good job about that. Like your horse turned because of the mechanical cow, not because you just made him turn. And so that is why you're more successful in this. He was drawn to the mechanical cow. The only thing that they see, like that direction he does better than this direction. And then let me pause something right here. Let me pause something to help you with this. So when they stop, you want them to stop flat and then roll over their hocks. Right there. Your foot came out and that drew his hip out. Keep your foot there so that it blocks this hip right here and makes him sit on this leg. Well, actually, he's going to sit on the outside leg and then roll over his hocks. But when you take your leg off, you're opening the door for that hip to swing out. And when that hip swings out, he's behind the cow. So he's really good going the other way, but coming back this way, he loses it just a little bit. So watch, we'll do it again. So right here, he sits, he rolls really nicely on that. But right here, your leg comes off. See that? Don't do that because you're opening the wrong door. You want to close that hip with your right foot. So push that right foot into his hip. Other than that, he was pretty cute. Also, do not pet them in the show ring, because if you're technically still being judged, that's against the rules.